So hello everybody, this is Bhante Joe here, and I'm just here at Dhatunakuti and thought to record a short Dhamma discussion for the internet. So I thought I could start with a little meditation. So you can lean forward a bit and arch the spine, and look about 3 feet in front, and close our eyes. And we can spread thoughts of goodwill to our right hand side, wishing may all beings to my right be happy and at ease. May they put in place the causes necessary to be happy and at ease. And we can make the mind infinite, can make it unbounded, all the way to the ends of the universe and beyond, in every dimension. May all beings to my right be happy and at ease. And we can spread thoughts of goodwill to our right hand side and our left hand side, wishing may all beings to my right and my left be happy and at ease. May they put in place the causes necessary to be happy and at ease. And we can spread thoughts of goodwill to our right hand side, our left hand side, and in front. May all beings to my right, my left, and in front be happy and at ease. May they put in place the causes necessary to be happy and at ease. And we can spread thoughts of goodwill to our right hand side, our left hand side, in front, behind, all around in all 4 directions. May all beings all around in all 4 directions be happy and at ease. May they put in place the causes necessary to be happy and at ease. And we can spread thoughts of goodwill to our right hand side, our left hand side, in front, behind, and above. May all beings in all 4 directions and above be happy and at ease. May they put in place the causes necessary to be happy and at ease. And we can spread thoughts of goodwill to our right hand side, our left hand side, in front, behind, above, below, all around in every direction, everywhere. May all beings all around in every direction, everywhere be happy and at ease. May they put in place the causes necessary to be happy and at ease. And we can make the mind infinite, can make it unbounded, all the way to the ends of the universe and beyond, in every dimension. May all beings all around everywhere be happy and at ease. And before we finish meditating, can contemplate impermanence for a bit. Contemplating how all phenomena that are subject to arising are subject to ceasing. They're not me, they're not mine, they're not myself. And can open our eyes and do a short Dhamma discussion for the internet. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Saṅghāṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Dutiyampi Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Saṅghāṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Tatiyampi Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Saṅghāṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. So hope that everybody's having a great day wherever it might be. And the rainy season continues here, although we've had a streak of warm weather, which has been quite nice. And was asked a question a while back. It was about dissolving past perception. It was about cutting the cycle of past habits. So the question was, does staying in the present moment help to cut the Vipallasa cycle and break past bad habits, these kind of things. So being in the present moment is something that's highly recommended by the Buddha, and in its kind of basic form in the suttas is something that's called sati sampajana, which means going through the day basically just being aware of what one's doing and not focusing on external perceptions of the past and perceptions of the future, these kind of things, just trying to be keeping the mind centered on the activity one's doing, whatever it is that one's doing. And so some of the times that the mind works with past habits, especially of thinking, is that it'll work in a kind of feedback loop. So for example, if one is a worried person, then one may think about the future and worry about whether or not it's going to take place. And as a result of that thinking, this kind of emotion of fear comes up. And if one isn't mindful of it, the emotion stays there for a while and may trigger or influence a new cycle of thinking about the future, in which case the thinking about the future can become more pronounced and feed back into this emotion of fear. Or the emotion can become more pronounced and feed back into the thinking. It can create a kind of negative feedback loop where the emotion of fear and the thinking about the future negatively impact the mind. And so in this case, having the ability to go through the day just being in the present moment can help to cut this kind of Vipallasa cycle. Vipallasa basically means, according to the sutta definitions, I understand it's like a wrong perception. So one perceives things that are impermanent to be permanent. One perceives things that are ugly to be beautiful. These kind of things. And so especially these kind of distorted perceptions can happen around things like the past and the future. And so with the example in fear, one's perceptions about the future become distorted. The future actually hasn't occurred yet, and yet one is somehow already living in a future with all these different conditions that one has basically created in the mind, and sometimes worrying about factors that are 1 or 2 or 3 steps ahead of what have already occurred. So by being in the present moment in this way, it can help to cut this negative habit of thinking about the future, overthinking about the future, and going into worry. It can also help with other negative emotions, like for example, if one is angry, one gets angry about people and kind of thinks what these people have done to one in the past, what they're going to do to one in the future. And the emotion of anger can become amplified the more one, say, thinks about the past bad action, the past wrong that was done to one. In the similar way, kind of negative feedback loop, one thinks about what was done, anger arises to a certain extent, one may go about one's day for a bit, but then this kind of feeling comes up and one thinks again, and the feeling can amplify the more one thinks about it. And the mind can incline more and more towards thinking about angry thoughts, thinking about things that make one angry the more one practices doing this. So in this case as well, being in the present moment, just staying in the present moment can help. So in other words, there's a wide range of misperceptions, a wide range of skewed views or views about things that haven't happened, overreactions to things that have happened in the past and may no longer be relevant, overreactions to things that haven't happened yet in the future and may never happen. And the emotions associated with them get amplified by overthinking. And this can be cut by staying in the present moment to a certain extent. However, just being in the present moment isn't enough to eliminate whatever defilements come into the mind and cause it to be deluded, cause it to grasp after things that it thinks will make it happy when they actually don't, causes it to misperceive what's important and to grasp onto things that thinks will give satisfaction, thinks are beautiful, thinks are charming, and they're actually subject to changing, subject to becoming ugly, subject to becoming uncharming. So to go further in one's practice, the Buddha doesn't just recommend solely staying in the present moment. One also has to have all the factors of the Noble Eightfold Path. One has to have right view, one has to have right intention. If one, for example, stays in the present moment, but has the view that, killing animals is not wrong, then one can stay in the present moment and become a more efficient killer of animals. So this present moment awareness can be used for performance enhancement in activities that aren't necessarily skillful and will increase the amount of suffering one feels. So in other words, right view is essential. One has to know what is and isn't the path and move forward in this way. Another thing is that this staying in the present moment, just trying to go back to whatever it is one was doing and being aware of that, in theory it sounds like it can work quite well for almost anything. But in reality, one needs a variety of techniques at one's disposal to counter the various thoughts that come into the mind and that cause suffering. So if one is angry about a wrong that was done to one in the past and one has cultivated that anger to a very strong degree, cultivated that resentment to a very strong degree, then sometimes it may work well to return to the present moment and say, just focus, okay, now I'm just driving, now I'm just walking, now I'm just sweeping, focusing just on that. But if it's quite strong, then even if one tries to go to that, sometimes the mind will be pulled back into this anger. One's mindfulness won't be a proper match. So in these cases as well, one needs to have this kind of right view, this kind of right intention that there are these counters to the various mental hindrances that the Buddha's taught about. So one needs to have this cultivation of metta to counter the defilement of anger. And this also brings in the other qualities of the Noble Eightfold Path. It brings in right effort. And kind of one needs to put forth effort to counter, to dispel various bad thoughts that have arisen in these various ways. One needs to put forth effort, have right view about what's a good and wholesome quality, and find the various ways to bring it into effect, to develop it and to make it grow. So while being in the present moment can help with a lot of different things, it's why the Buddha, probably why the Buddha recommends it so strongly. Of course, one can't know all the reasons that a Buddha has, but it can be helpful for many different things, especially as a general frame of mind, not sending the mind out to the past more than necessary, not sending the mind out to the future more than necessary, but remaining content with whatever's going on in the present. This can help as a general antidote to many different mental problems or many different types of suffering that can arise. It can help with them. And it can give strength to the efforts that one puts forth that aren't directly related to, say, just being in the present moment and being aware of what one's doing. So if one has kept one's mind in the present moment as much as one can throughout the day, when one directs the mind to, say, think of metta when one's angry, the mind will respond. It's kind of like like a dog or like a horse that one has trained well. If one allows that dog or horse or whatever animal it is to wander wherever it wants all the time, then it becomes used to that. And when you call it to come or try to give it an order, then it doesn't respond to the order. But if one has trained the animal well and the animal's become used to receiving direction, it's become used to living a disciplined life, then when it receives instruction, it follows the instruction. And so in a similar way, this being in the present moment, one learns to discipline and train the mind to stay on task, to stay on target, so that when one directs it to a meaningful goal that's meant to counter or develop something that will make the mind brighter, that will make the mind more at ease, it responds, it pays attention. So in short, there's many ways in which this being in the present moment can act as a kind of a help or a supportive condition to the development of the path, a help and a supportive condition to reducing Vipallasa, reducing kind of wrong perceptions. But it's not the only thing. One requires all the factors of the Noble Eightfold Path. One requires a variety of different techniques to try to counter mental defilements that have arisen and to try to appropriately develop wholesome qualities that one doesn't have and to abandon ones that one already has. It requires a great variety of skills. But among these great variety of skills, this being in the present moment is one that can help, one that can support the others in one's effort to develop a wholesome mind for the sake of developing qualities that lead one onwards to Nibbana. Okay, so I think leave that for reflection, and hope that everybody has a great day wherever it might be, and wishing all the blessings of Dhamma practice.